Welcome to my carp fishing season video. This will be the December version. I hope you've enjoyed the October and November issues. The feedback has been brilliant. You've been really liking it, guys, and thanks a lot very much for the lovely comments and the lovely messages that you like the new look way that I'm doing the vlogs now. You can find the latest one, November one, up there. I'll put a little link up there so you can go and watch that. Loads of tips in there, and it's good entertaining and a nice fishing there as well. So what have we got in store for this month's December's edition? Well, we'll be talking about the 360 rig. I'm actually going to show you. I know you've been waiting. I've been having messages about you'd like me to show you how to tie the rig. Well, we're going to tie the rig in this. We're going to do that tomorrow. Also, we've got biscuit of the week. How can we not have one of these vlogs without biscuit of the week? Also, I'll be talking about the new bivvy that I've got. If you remember in the last November vlog, I was talking about I wasn't sure what bivvy I was going to get, or if I was going to get one or not, or whatever. Well, we got one, so I'm going to give you a little insight into that, a little first impressions and the reason why I bought a new one and what the criteria was for that to be met for me to get a new bivvy. Right, the rods are out. I'm going to get the kettle on and we're going to relax because we've got 48 hours at the Park Lake. Hope you enjoy me for the whole of the video. We're going to be going through everything to do with December. Roll that intro. Now, how do we approach December? It can be a very funny month, December, because we've had that real air pressure, air temperature and water temperature drop since the November video. Now, if you remember, it was over 10 degrees when we were taking the water temperature in November, and now it's dropped to 7.1. Yes, 7.1. So it's been a mad drop, that is. So what that will do is that will make the fish, they feed a little bit more sparingly. They only feed on certain items, and their metabolism rate will lower considerably as well. With that drop in temperature, the fish's metabolism will drop as well. So how do we approach that? I mean, we can use maggots and particles and things like that. What I tend to do is I'm a bit more of a boily fisherman. So if you remember, in the last November edition, we were mixing all different sizes of the XXX with the live system. Mixing it in because we've been catching on the XXX, but as it's got colder, I'm going now to change onto the my dedicated winter bait, which is the live system. Now, a couple of things I change about that. Instead of having different sizes in there, I go down to 10mm. I just use 10mm live system, but I glug those freebies with that Minamino and liquid liver mix. Mixing the two together, as we see in the November issue, that gives it even more attraction. And I do that 2 or 3 days before I go. Let them soak in for a day, put them back in the freezer, and it sucks it in even more. So the night before I'm going, I take the bag of 10mm out, and that's what I use. That's what I take with me. I'm also concentrating on the deeper, siltier areas, because that's where, as it's got colder, all the natural food, what's left, will congregate into those deeper, siltier areas. Or if you've got weed in your lake, try and fish near the dying weed, because again, all the natural food will be going in. As everything's dying, it'll be going into those areas which are a little bit warmer and a little bit safer, a bit more cover for them. Also, if I'm on a 2 or 3 day session, the first night, like tonight, I've pinged the rods out. They're out there on the spots, lovely. But I'll only be fishing singles. 360 rigs, I'll be continuing to use those with the Northern Specials, which have been glugged up like you saw in the November issue. We were adding the liquids, the Northern Special liquid and the sweetener to it, and keep on adding it, so they're prime now. So those 3 will be going out. Well, they've gone out, I've put them out, and I'm using a white one, a pink one and an orange one. Now we will at some point be swapping over to at least one of the hook baits to cork ball life system, which again had been glugged, which we'd been maturing, which I showed you in the last November video, November vlog. So we prepared ourselves in November for this sort of weather that's coming. So that's the feed and the hook bait approach, and if I'm going to feed, if I'm not going to feed. First night always singles, second night I may introduce, depending on what happens, what I see, etc, etc. I'll be putting out some of those 10mm, a couple of spods, a couple of the small spods over each, or if it's catapult range, you know, 3 or 4 catapults worth of those little 10mm oozing out all those liquids which are soaked in. So that's where we are with that. Right, let's have a look at the new bivvy. If you remember, again in the November issue, I was talking about whether I was going to get a new bivvy, whether I wasn't, and I decided to. Now the reason being was that I really like my Tracker Tempest brolly, but it is a brolly and it's thin, it's nylon I think, and the condensation was starting to get really bad. As the water temperature and the air temperature and everything was getting a bit of rain and all that, I was getting, like my pillow was getting damp and it was getting a bit condensation in the brolly and that, even with the front on. So I thought, right, I'm going to bite the bullet, I'm going to invest in a proper bivvy for the winter, just to use in the winter. I'll be using the Tempest probably in the spring and summer and early autumn, but I just want to be a bit more comfortable. I'm getting old, you know. I need to stop roughing it and yeah, get a dedicated bivvy. So there's the bivvy. HQ 1-man dual layer Avid bivvy. Okay, so why did I choose that one? What I didn't want to do is having to get your bivvy and then having to put another layer over the top, peg all that down, etc, etc. It's just too much ag and that gets wet and that. So I wanted a bivvy where they've come along so much, a bivvy where you've got an internal layer inside, hence the name, the HQ dual layer bivvy. Now I know Sonic could do one, and I had a quick look at that. A friend of mine's got one of those, and that's more of a brolly system. Didn't really grab me. And another friend of mine's got the HQ 1-man. I look at that and I quite like that. I thought, yeah, that's nice. That dual layer, you put it in once and you leave it, so when you pack up, you don't have to keep on taking it off, putting it in. You can do it if you want, but he just leaves it in, then he puts it up, puts his ground sheet in, and it's all done. And there's nice little pockets inside that you can put stuff in, and it keeps the condensation at bay. You just don't get any condensation at all, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want to wake up in the morning, everything's dripping wet. Below, where on the Tracker, on the Tempest, you've got the skull cap, so above that, lovely, no condensation, but below it you get condensation, and that's normally where your head is and your pillow and your clothes if you're taking it off, or your coat or wherever it is, and it was getting damp, and I'd had enough of that. I wasn't roughing it anymore. So that was the main criteria. It had to be like a dual skin. Now it's a 20,000 hydrostatic head material, whatever that means. To me, talking to people, what that means is you just ain't getting wet. Simple as that. It's like a ripstop material, and I think they call it dual stop or something like that. But yeah, look, lovely material, really thick, quality material, really dark. So I get a good night's sleep in it. Hopefully not too good, because we might catch one, but it's got the material and it's dark, and that's what I want as well, so I can relax, so I can actually get proper sleep. Because even with that nylon Tempest, it's quite light inside, hence why I sprayed it up. If you remember, I sprayed it all to not only make it look pretty carpy baby, but because I want to darken it off a little bit. But this material, the dual stop I think it's called, is yeah, it's really dark and thick and very, very, very waterproof. Let's have a quick look around it. Let's have a look. So you've got a big peak on there, which is nice. And something else, which when I set it up a little while ago, you've got 2 tension straps which are colour coded, so you can't mistake which one goes where. But you've got one at the front and one at the back. So what I did with that was I tightened up the back one, put that on, tightened up the front one, but it made it quite high at the front. And because the bank here, I don't know if you can see, because the bank here slopes a little bit down, the bivvy was nice and high at the front, but I couldn't put my pegs in. So the beauty of having that dual strap is that I untook it, unclipped it, and I just spaced it out. So the front is now not a lot lower, which is great. You still see out of it, which is brilliant. As you can see, my chair there, I can sit down and see out of it, but I can actually put my pegs in. So even on uneven ground, it works fine. So that's a bonus, which I didn't realise it had until I looked at it and worked it out. Nice ground sheet there as well, loads of pegs, and that dual layer in there. As I say, you put it in once, you clip it all in, and there's a couple of nice little storage bits in there as well. Put it in once, and then when I pack up in a couple of days, I can actually fold it down and keep it in there. I don't have to keep on putting it in, clipping it in, or if I bought a bivvy with a separate sheet to go over the top, you know, the second layer, I'd have had to keep putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off, but I don't with this. Now tension, you've got tension bars which keep it really rigid, and also if you see there, you've got a little window so you get a bit of air. I mean, if you're going to France or something like that, probably ideal, because that internal shell's going to keep it nice and cool, but also you can zip off the whole of the back and you have the flow going all the way through. Absolutely lovely, isn't it? Great. So yeah, so I invested in that. You're going to see that over the next couple of months, and we're going to go in a little bit more in depth maybe. But yeah, I'll put a link to where you can find out some more information about it. I think there's a video on it I saw that Avid done. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. In fact, I'm really happy with it. Initial impressions are, it's a nice bit of kit. I'll put the link in there so you can find out. Go and get some more information. If you're in the market for a new decent bivvy, which you don't have to get a second layer for, because it's already built in, you just clip it in, then have a look at the Avid HQ one-man bivvy, dual layer one-man bivvy, I might add. Right, so that's me telling you about why I decided to get a new bivvy and why I decided to get that one. Got about 2 hours before dark, haven't seen anything yet. Had a little liner on the middle rod though, about half an hour after putting it out. So they're on the dance floor, all looking good out there. I've got 2 nights, looking forward to it. And I say tomorrow, we'll be doing biscuit of the week tomorrow. Oh, the housewife's favourite. And also I'll be showing you how to tie that 360 rig, all the components, how I tie it, so you can tie it and set it up yourself. It's been done very good for me over the last few trips, or last 4 or 5 months. We've had quite a few on it, haven't we? So yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to get the kettle on, chill out for the evening. Hopefully I'll see you in the middle of the night, but as it's probably only 2 hours before dark, that's probably going to be it. If not, I will see you first thing in the morning. We're a biscuit of the week, and we will be showing you how to tie the 360 rig. See you in the morning, guys. Well, here we go. Got one to show you. Would you believe that didn't take long, did it? £37. Absolute stunner. It's just before dark, so I'm going to get her up, show you, and then try and get the rod back out there so the lighting may be a little dark, because it's just coming up to evening time. Oh, look at this, look. Oh, what a beautiful fish. £37 mirror. Just don't hold still. A big chunk. Look at that. That'll do for me. Whew. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Well made up with that. Right, let's get her back, see if we can catch another one. Well, good morning, and what a stupendously glorious morning it is, especially because we had one just before dark. £37 mirror, that'd do for me. No walk of shame this week. Whoopee! Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the drive back a little bit more, especially with this cold weather. I mean, it was so misty this morning as well. Cold, misty. Went down about 2 degrees last night. Beautiful looking this morning, but cold. So yeah, we're happy. No walk of shame. We've had one. I've just got the kettle on, so that can only mean one thing only, It's the housewife's favourite. Yes, it is biscuit of the week. Look at that. Welcome to biscuit of the week. We've got a rather special one this week. I know I say that every week, but every biscuit's special, isn't it? Nice cup of tea. Nothing like a nice cup of tea first in the morning. Right, so what's this biscuit of the week? I was in Tesco's and I saw these, and they're a little bit unusual. Now, everyone likes a custard cream, don't they? I love custard creams. They are a bit special. And I see these, right? Now, these are rhubarb and custard creams. Check those bad boys out. Look at that. Something totally different. I've never ever seen these before. Custard creams, yeah, they're standard, aren't they? You can walk along whatever supermarket. But rhubarb and custard creams in a special pink packet. I'm going to try these. Now, will they live up to expectations? Right, looks like a custard cream, but isn't. Right, let's go on. God, you can taste the custard cream, but then you get this hit of rhubarb. Oh, quite like them. It puts a different spin on the old custard creams, doesn't it? Rhubarb and custard creams. Can't see them lasting very long, can you? Dunkability. Yep, still stays intact. Oh yeah, what happens is the tea goes round the crusty outside but doesn't touch the rhubarb and custard creamy bit in the middle, and it's proper divine. It's lovely. I think I'll get 2 packs of them next time. And do you know what else I noticed? On all the biscuits I ever show on Biscuit of the Week, they all have red. Everywhere there, fat, saturated fat, sugars, salt, red. Well, these aren't red at all. So they're actually a tiny little bit healthier for you. Still hard to have material, but just a tiny little bit healthier. So you can have 2 packets. Well, that's my excuse anyway. But yeah, guys, give those a go. Get in the Tesco's. Rhubarb and custard creams. That is your biscuit of the week. Welcome back. Well, I hope you enjoyed that biscuit of the week. A little bit different. I've never seen them. Rhubarb and custard creams. Very yummy. The little kids will love those, and the housewives will love them as well. Well, and us car bangers will love them, I tell you. Right, I'm going to reel the rods in. It's about midday. I'm going to redo the rods, get them out for the night, last night. Hopefully we'll get another one. You never know. You never know. Fingers crossed, eh? But there will be no walk of shame, which is always a bonus, isn't it? Right, I'm going to reel the rods in, and then I'm going to show you the 360 rig, how to tie it, a little background about it, what components I use, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and hope you use it, and hope you catch on it. Okay, see you in a minute. The 360 rig, originally brought about by Dave Lane and one of his mates. I think they were fishing a few lakes, and they come up with this rig, the 360 rig. It's a very effective rig. I used it about 10 years ago and stopped using it because I moved on to different lakes and different venues with different bottoms of the lake and that, and I just stopped using it really. I've totally forgot about it. Plus there was a lot of bad press about it getting hooked up in your net. But the way I tie it safely, and I tie it and I put a little bit of silicone tube over the eye, and that cuts all that danger of it getting hooked up to the net whilst the hook's still in the fish's mouth and getting it torn. So I'm going to show you how to tie it. There's a couple of things I use. I know you've been messaging me and questioning me, when are we going to see the 360 rig? I've been using a new hook pattern, a curved hook pattern with it from about last 5 or 6 months ago, and I didn't want to tell you it was a really good pattern and it was a really good hook and it's really working well with the rig until I tested it fully. Before then I was using a few other different curve type patterns and I'd lost a couple of fish. I was speaking to a friend of mine who used the 360 rig all the time. He's been using it for about 10 years. And he said, get on these hooks. Because there was an original hook that Dave Lane developed and brought out with JRC. I think it was either called the 360 hook or the MBT1 or something like that. But obviously JRC stopped making them, so you can't get them anymore. But these are identical hook. Avid do these hooks. They're called the CRV hook. They come in size 4, 6, 8 and 10, I believe, something like that. But they're super sharp, which is just standard with any hook nowadays, the way technology's gone. And the thing I like about them also, which I think's taken it to another level than the original hooks that Dave Lane come out with, is that they're like a non-reflective green. And I haven't seen any green hooks anywhere. And I think that blends in nicely with the bottom, and it's something a little bit different. And it's definitely a unique feature. I think there's other hooks in the range. I haven't seen those, so I can't really comment on those. But the CRV hook is perfect in a size 4 for the 360 rig. I presume it'll work well for bottom baits and blowback rigs, but I haven't tested it, so I can't comment on it. But for the 360 rig, I've not lost a fish yet using it over the last 4.5 months. So that's why I wanted to give it a good test. Okay, let's tie it. I'm going to go through the bits. Don't worry if you miss anything, because in the description below I'm going to list every component that I use, so you can go and have a look. You can write it down, photocopy it, do whatever you want, and then get all the bits, and then you can make the 360 rig yourself. Also, the 360 rig can be used with 2 different lead arrangements. You can use it with pattern oyster, how I fish it, where you push the bead up. If you're fishing in silt, I push the bead up so it sinks nicely, the lead goes into the silt, and where it's running for about an inch, about 3 inches, 4 inches, wherever I feel the depth of the silt is, then it's going to settle nicely. But I use a stiff hook link for that. If I use a clip system, if lead core's banned, or I prefer a clip system, then I'd use probably a coated braid, which is a bit more supple. Now I know a few of my friends use a 360 rig. They only use it with a coated braid and a clip system. So you can use it with different lead attachments. The beauty of this rig is that it spins around, hence the name 360. It spins around, it moves up, it moves in every single direction. And I found it a really good alternative to the Ronnie rig if it's been done to death. I mean, I don't personally like the Ronnie rig, but there's no getting away from it. It is a phenomenally good rig. I prefer to use the 360 rig. To me, this rig comes in 2 parts. You've got the hook section and you've got the boom, which you attach to your lead system. The hook section, I take a size 4 CRV hook and I thread on a size 11 ring swivel. Next thing, I want a hook ring stop. I push one of those on and I position that just below the point of the hook. Next item to stick on the hook is a hook ring swivel. I thread that on. Next, thread on another hook ring stop and position that right at the top of the hook. Last but not least, I cut a small little piece of silicone and I thread that onto the eye of the hook, pushing it on so it just covers it. This will stop that eye getting caught up in your net when you catch a fish, when the hooks are still attached to the fish's mouth and tearing the fish's mouth. You can use a bit of shrink tube or a bit of silicone, I found works just as well. Thread on your hook bait. I use a little size 12 Northern Special on this because it just sinks it just right. The weight of the hook and everything, and the Northern Special, that pop up, that little 12mm pop up, just sinks it absolutely perfect. But if you're using, say, 14 or 15 miller or whatever, make a boilie and it's a lot more buoyant, then just put a little bit of putty down on the boom section, which I'll talk about next. Length of the boom section, I tie 7 inches to 10 inches. I normally, if I'm fishing with 3 rods, I have one short, say 6-7 inches, and the other 2, say 8 and 10 inches, just to see if it makes any difference. And you'll normally find that one length will outfish the other on a lake at a certain time. And I tie that onto me ring on my hook, and then I tie it to my other ring on my pattern oyster on my or on my lead clip system. With the boom material, I probably halfway down I put a little bit of putty, and then I heat it, steam it over the kettle to straighten it out. All that's left to do now is put a little bit of dissolvable PVA foam nugget on the hook to keep it all in place and cast it out. It's as simple as that. Once you get used to it, tying it up, it sounds like it's a little bit difficult, but it really isn't. It's just a question of just getting it right, getting it positioned right. And I tell you what, that rig will catch you lots of fish if positioned correctly, and if you're using the right lead system. If you're fishing on a hard ground, lead clip, definitely. If you're fishing in silt, fish, helicopter style type of lead core leader, and push that top bead up. The deeper the silt is, the higher up you can go. It's presented perfectly. So there you go, guys. I know you've been dying to find out how I tie it. It's not rocket science. It's just a rig that works with either type of rig material. Has caught me fish to over 51 pound this year already. There you go. Give it a go. Put in the comments below if you're gonna give it a go. Put in the comments below if you don't like it, or if you've got any questions at all. You can either leave a question in the comments and I'll answer every single one, or send me a direct message on my Instagram account and we can start a chat and I can talk you through how to tie it if you're having any problems at all. So I hope you like the 360. I hope it brings a new dimension to your pop-up fishing, and I hope to hear lots of your catch reports of how well you've done on it. So we're about half an hour before dark, looking rather good out there. We've redone the rods. We put all three out, and as I said yesterday, I put a couple of spods worth of gear over the top, little 10 millers that have been glugged in the old magic liquid. So managed to get a couple of those out, and it's looking really good. It's flat calm, seeing a little bit of bubbling out there, but yeah, I'm happy that we've had one, so I'm not too bothered. It'd be nice to have another one, but not too bothered if we don't. Bomb site up there. Had a good night's sleep in that bivvy last night, actually. One of the best nights sleep on the bank, because it's so dark in there. I didn't wake up. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loving that. It's going to be another cold one tonight, 2 degrees I think. But I mean, look at that, look. It's looking absolutely crack on, spot on out there. No walk of shame, and hopefully we have another one, but I'm not too bothered. Right, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to get my dinner on, going to settle in for the night, snuggle up in there, zip the door up, get the heater on, and yeah, enjoy, and yeah, hopefully see you in the night with another one, or if not, see you in the morning, guys. Well, good morning. Weather's taken a bit of a turn for the worst. Look at that. That is an absolutely freezing cold northeasterly wind. Absolutely freezing. No more fish last night. Really quiet. No liners, no nothing. The wind picked up in the night and it's a cold wind, so not surprised really, but we're happy. No walk of shame. Rods are on the dance floor still. We're just about to pack up the bivvy, pack up everything and head off home. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you for the next vlog.